So what led to this video?
Okay, so this video was inspired by a tweet I saw from a friend of mine on Twitter, whose at is Vlad Tep, VLADD, I think, Tep, who posted it. I don't remember the exact context, but it was like the greatest idea ever. He's like, what would happen if Kevin McCallister trapped Tartarus? I was like, that's the greatest idea.
When did we become the Death Battle channel?
Dude, all I want to do anymore is just talk about things fighting. That's all I want to do anymore is talk about fetishes and debate people about Bleach and talk about people fighting. That's all I want to do anymore.
Okay. So today on Fifth Fights, we have Kevin McCallister versus the C's, all of them.
Yes.
Now, when in Persona 3 is this battle taking place?
Okay, so the way I kind of envision this is like throughout the entirety of Persona 3 battle. Like the thing I've imagined in my head is Kevin McCallister has like climbed Tartarus already and has fully secured it with traps. And he's just waiting at the very top.
Because Kevin was led astray by Strega.
Right, of course, he's a member of Strega, and let's just say that, like, the shadows don't bother him because they feel his malicious intent or something.
Yeah.
So the shadows and him are on the same page, so he doesn't have to worry.
Yeah, he's like Adachi that way.
He's like Adachi.
So
they're both addicted to fucking cocaine.
Of course. So this is going to be seized throughout the entirety of Persona 3. Yes. Not counting any Universe Arcana or any of that.
Right. Yeah, we'll just say that, like, once they get past all the traps, then then it goes back to normal. Because it's really just Tartarus that's been affected.
Yeah. I believe that Kevin's traps could subdue C's pretty easily up until they get Aegis.
Okay.
Aegis is going to be big trouble for a lot of Kevin's traps because she's more agile than any other member. Right. In Persona 4 Arena and Persona 4 Ultimax, she's shown to have jet propulsion, and jet propulsion prevents you from, like, slipping on things because you're going through the air. Additionally, Fuuka could probably scan the area, and that would help them move more cautiously.
Yeah, see, I was actually... Okay, I'll talk about Fuuka in a bit, but to reel it back a bit, immediately, this makes going up Tartarus a way more difficult effort, because previously Tartarus was just, like, flat ground, and, like, you go up and there's shadows, and that's really the only thing that's there to deal with. The traps make this an enormously more mentally and physically challenging task, right?
Yes, because you need to be on your toes all the time when dealing with Kevin McCallister. Even if his traps don't hurt as much as the stronger shadows, they can still throw you off, and that could leave you vulnerable, and when you're vulnerable, the shadows can, like, knock you down, stun you. You're already not.
Yeah, like, that's a bad combination, is you think you're running away from a shadow or whatever, and then, fucking paint can coming.
Yeah. So, I think that Yukari and Junpei, probably not the most coordinated at this point in time.
Junpei is, like, very careless, so he's probably gonna fall victim to a lot of the traps.
Yeah. Yukari is just an ordinary girl at this point. She's not a trained stunt actress, so she's also probably going to fall victim every now and then.
Right.
Mitsuru, I feel like she's a lot more attentive to everything.
Absolutely.
So Mitsuru, probably not going to be affected, but she's still going to be moving slower around.
Yeah, that's another thing that, like, just throughout the course of having these traps, the C's is going to be slowed down by these little increments that are going to add up a lot.
And that's going to make them have to retreat Tartarus more often, and making it harder to ascend the tower.
Right, and that's going to make them, like, gradually, not weaker, but, like, they're going to get stronger at a slower rate. Because of how taxing going through Tartarus is.
Additionally, I think if Kevin knows how the fucking checkpoint teleport things work, then those things are just no-goes.
Yeah, I'm sure those are going to be, like, very heavily trapped. So are all the treasures, too.
Yeah. That said, I feel like Aegis is just going to be the end-all be-all for this. She doesn't care how hot the doorknobs are. She doesn't care like what's on her feet, what's on her face. If a spider goes up in Aegis's face, she's going to blink.
Eat it?
No, she's not Elizabeth. Elizabeth strikes me as someone who would eat it.
Yeah, she would pull a Rohan and just fucking eat the thing.
Fascinating. I believe that you want to say something about Fuuka?
Yeah, okay, so I think there's a genuine possibility Fuuka might die. Because, okay, so here's the deal. How long was she trapped in Tartarus for when she got locked in the gym?
Several days.
Several days, okay. Now, imagine that, but also there's traps.
Well, Fuuka is really good at just turtling and standing still.
Yeah, she is, but, like, you still need to move around because of the shadows. You can't just totally stay in hermit mode.
I don't think that Fuuka would die.
See, I don't know, like, some of the stuff that Kevin does would, like, kill a normal human being. Mm-hmm. Like, if you get touched with one of those death doorknobs, that's your fucking hand, like, not useful at all anymore. Mm-hmm. Or if you step on some nails, then you can't move. You get hit by a fucking paint can, you've got a concussion.
Yeah, and at that point, Fuuka hasn't awoken to her persona yet.
Right. Yeah, so she can't, like, sense the traps.
Yeah. I think that Fuuka could turtle her way through, though.
Yeah, see, that's Kevin's greatest strength, is that he has to rely on the other people moving. Because, like, if the wet bandage just left, then what the fuck is he going to do about it? He has to kind of rely on them moving forward.
Additionally, he needs them to be somewhat aggressive. Kevin often had to go down himself to just, like,
provoke them.
Yeah, provoke the wet bandits. Granted, the shadows could easily take that place of provoking.
Yeah, like, I could imagine a shadow, like, pretending to run away and it's actually leading them to a trap. Mm-hmm.
I think over time, as Seas evolves, and they strengthen their resolve and get their ultimate personas, then things shift heavily in Seas' favor. But here's the thing. I actually have a quote prepared for this.
Okay.
In Home Alone, it wasn't Culkin-kun who ultimately stopped the robbers. It was the adults who came to save him. It was that way in both the first and the second movies.
Yeah, because he at the end of it, he basically lost.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were going to get him.
And, like, this is where I present to you my big twist for this.
Okay.
So Kevin is stalling for time, right? That's what he's doing. When you stall for time in Tartarus, you start to hear the chains. I think that the mysterious old person who will come to help Kevin McCallister win this death battle will be the Reaper. Like, they will have, you know, like, yeah, we've got him right where we want him. We got through the floor, but they took too long, and now the Reaper is here.
Yeah, that's another thing. They have to constantly worry about the Reaper, because they're obviously going through this at a slower rate.
Mm-hmm. And ultimately, that just means they're going to be at a weaker state. However, if we're going about this through gameplay idea, like, if this is in-game, like, gameplay sees, they do have a way to, like, gain levels and experience points, because shadows do just spawn during the Love Hotel. But that is only going to save Yukari and Junpei and Akihiko. I think Mitsuru's also there. Yeah. That is... I think the Reaper is what's going to, like, turn this around.
Yeah, the Reaper is definitely an issue. Especially if he cares for Kevin McCallister.
Yeah.
You know, the Reaper?
Yeah. Yeah, like, the Reaper gives Kevin McCallister a little bird.
Yeah. Little fucking vulture or something.
Little silver vulture that Kevin holds in his hands.
Yeah, but, like, before the Reaper is just this weird emissary of death that I guess just doesn't like people being in Tartarus. Mm-hmm. But now if he's interested in protecting Kevin, that's an issue.
Yeah. Like, this now we got the equivalent of the bird lady,
right?
And the snow shoveler. No one's going to know where I pulled that quote about Home Alone from. I could have stolen it from my brother and me, but instead I stole it from Danganronpa Zero. Do you think Ken's immune to Kevin's bullshit since he's also a child?
I think to some extent, like, it's kind of easier to get into the mind of a child if you are a child and kind of think, okay.
Like, C's is like, we're just completely fucked here. And Akutsuki's all like, I need to resolve this Kevin problem.
This Kevin problem?
And then Ken joins the party.
As their trap expert.
Yes. They hired this child soldier.
From Zanzibar. But yeah, I think that, like, Ken and Kevin would be on kind of the same wavelength to where this is the weirdest statement I've ever made, but I think that Ken would be able to more easily kind of figure out, okay, where would I be putting these traps, right?
Mm-hmm. And then between Ken's ability to get into the mind of the codename kids next door and Aegis having like an arsenal, I think they could disarm most of the traps once both of them are in the party.
Plus, another thing is, how many floors is Tartarus? It's like over 100.
Yes.
So, eventually, Kevin is gonna run out of ideas, right? Because there's a big difference between kind of the structure of a house and Tartarus, which is like a mostly flat area. Like, there's no windows in Tartarus. There's no, like, you can't reach the roof. There's not as many approach options. Mm-hmm. And that's where Kevin, like, really shines, is the ability to block off multiple approach options.
Yeah. Like, Kevin worked by taking control of various choke points on the map. Yeah. He put down a sentry in just the right place.
But it's very different in Tartarus, to where, like, there's multiple paths, but there's only one way you really want to go. And plus, like, there's only so many things you can do with stairs, you know? It's like, you're either going to do the paint can, or we're going to have an oil drum come down, or there's going to be tacks on it, or whatever. So eventually, Tartarus is going to figure out, or Seas is going to figure out, okay, here are some stairs. Let's figure out what the stair trap of the hour is going to be.
But I think that Kevin is going to like thrive in this restrictive environment, because you know they say like restrictions creates creativity. I think he would come up with like a few new tricks.
Also, another thing I didn't consider is I don't think he would be able to bring electronics. Like, no electronic traps would work in there.
You're right. That actually does make a big difference in what Kevin can and can't do.
Yeah, because he relied on a lot of, like, just things that run on electricity.
Granted, a lot of his electricity things were for non-trap purposes, but he can't play back a recording.
Yeah, that's right.
That would have been some strong bait he could have had.
Imagine him playing like a recording that's like, Yukari, it's me, your father. Don't come up here.
No, Yukari, it's me, your father. I need your help.
I need your help. Don't mind the explosives.
Strega has to help Kevin McCallister get electronics that work in the dark hour by raiding the fucking Corrijo group.
It sounds like a fucking schlock weekend idea.
I can't believe that we got this far with this idea.
So, like, I want to think about just for a second a possibility to where Fuuka is, like, incapacitated or hospitalized or dies, or just for whatever reason or another is not able to work with C's. How badly does this fuck everything up?
Alright. Fuuka's character development was mostly self-contained, so I don't think anyone's persona evolution would be halted by this.
Right, I don't think she, like, influences anybody to change, really.
She is a nice little glue that keeps everyone together, because she's a little ray of sunshine.
Oh, yes.
But I don't think that there's many points where they absolutely needed an analyzer that, like, Mitsuru doesn't fall off as a navigator like Teddy does. It's just that she could be doing better things with her time. So Fuuka not being able to join the party does not change things in the long run, because Mitsuru's just as capable of analyzing.
Hi, this is Fither from the future. Slight correction. Mitsuru's persona, Pentasilia, is in fact vastly worse at support than Fuuka's persona is. It's hard to get a gauge on exactly how big of a difference there is, other than there is an objective greater support potential for Lucia than there is for Penthesilea. Either way, point still stands. If Mitsuru has to stay back and be their support, then she's going to be less effective at it. And they're also missing out on Mitsuru as a typical party member.
Like, despite being said to be the most tactical of the teams, I don't feel like C's ever had to deal with many, like, tense scenarios.
Yeah.
I think they just had to battle.
Yeah, like, Tartarus is physically exhausting, but I don't think it's, like, quite mentally taxing in the same way that, like, a Persona 5 Palace would be.
Mm-hmm. But if you throw in traps, then it just becomes an absolute gauntlet.
Yeah, it makes it a lot slower to get up, and they get stronger, like, slower.
Mm-hmm.
But all in all, I think that they're still gonna be able to make it, because, like, the thing is, Kevin has to kill these people to stop them, right? And very few things can stop C's, except it's like a fucking bullet from Takaya.
I think that Aegis alone, like once they get Aegis, there's just a point where they just say, "All right, Aegis, we're going to just give you directions from down here. You go, girl." Then Aegis just marches up the Tartarus like a fucking Terminator.
Yeah, plus they have, like, Mitsuru and Akihiko and the protagonists, who are all pretty level-headed people. Mm-hmm. Like, the reason why he's so effective against the Wet Bandits is because they're idiots.
Mm-hmm. They're idiots and easy to provoke.
Yeah.
Yukari, easy to provoke. Junpei, idiot. And then, like, Koromaru, dog.
Koromaru might actually be pretty good, because he can, like, smell out the traps, probably.
Like, Koromaru just starts growling constantly.
Yeah, like, this gets easier the more people they get. The first, like, few months-ish are brutal and awful, but I think they can start to make up for it as the months go by, with, like, more people that are more level-headed, and an Aegis, and a dog.
And another child. A counter child. Listen, when the enemy has a child on your team, someone needs to switch to child.
Yeah, it's like when you're dealing with a sniper, it's more effective to get another sniper.
Ah, shit. Strega got it. Strega has a child on their team. Yukari, can you switch to child?
I mean, she has the mentality of a child. So what would happen when they finally do reach the top and they find Kevin?
That's when Kevin is saved by the adult that is Nick.
That's when the Reaper shows up.
Yeah. Then you have to do the Reaper fight at whatever level they're at. And you could Persona 3 you could cheese the Reaper.
Yeah, the Reaper is, like, hard, but he's not crazy.
Yeah.
So, assuming they do beat up the Reaper, and Kevin's just there, no traps left, then what?
They didn't, like, C's never seemed like the type to just execute a motherfucker.
Right.
Like, even with Takaya, like, he was just knocked down, and Jin blew himself up. I think they're all too good people, and a lot of them just had, like, shit enough childhoods that they'd be like, your parents forgot you, left you home alone too? Junpei says.
Yeah, exactly. Like, even after dealing with the 100+ floors of traps, once they realize it's a kid doing all this, they're gonna kind of be like, alright.
So, your parents left you home alone. My dad left home one night, and he did come back for 4 days. He came back drunk.
Sup, little dude? You want to join C's? Want to help us fight Nyx?
At the end, they give Kevin an evoker.
Yo.
But nah, Kevin's not a member of C's. Kevin's clearly a Phantom Thief.
Of course.
The worst case for C's is that they die climbing up early on and can't continue. Worst case for Kevin is, like, he gets a stern talking to, because everyone sees is a good person.
Yeah, I can't imagine Kevin having any real consequences for this fucking Batman level prep time scheme that he's come up with.
Yeah. There's a point at which Kevin stops being as effective, but it's going to be more taxing on C.
Yeah, absolutely, but I think they can still do it. It's just going to be more irritating.
Yeah.
So C's wins this round.
Yeah. This round?
This round?
Are they going to go up against one of the other Home Alone protagonists? Because I think all of them are shittier than Kevin.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Kevin is the pinnacle. He's the most powerful of them, I think. I don't know how many fucking Home Alone movies there are.
How has there not been a Home Alone reboot?
Yeah.
Why haven't we seen, like, Bevan?
Oh, I was thinking, like, it's just Macaulay Culkin, but, like, at the current age he's at, and the Wet Bandits at the age they're at, and they, like, try to rob his house, and he's home alone because he's single and lonely.
At that point, it's not like a fun comedy. That's a horror movie.
Now it's just sad.
It's a horror movie about trying to just rob this single psychotic, like, chess master. It becomes Saw.
It basically becomes Saw. I imagine that he stops with the silly race cars and all and just starts, like, putting guillotines in the house. Let's execute him!
Thank you, Caroline Fither.
No problem, inmate.